We watched Nefarious recently and wondered how to talk with people who don't believe in God about the existence of evil in the world. What questions could we ask? I'm glad you watched the movie Nefarious. I really enjoyed that movie, and I think it's the best depiction today of how demonic activity looks in a modern Western context. The strategies are different here than in other parts of the world, and I think that movie captures it really well. I have engaged with people about the problem of evil in the world many times, and if you're asking specifically about just the realities of evil and what that means to our faith, here are a few questions that I would ask to try to take that conversation to a deeper level. For instance, what do you think about the evil that is in the world? Is it possible that there's something more strategic and coordinated behind it? Another one would be, how can we determine what is evil if there is no ultimate source of morality? Isn't it just up to the masses to decide what is evil and what isn't? So if the majority of people feel that hurting another group for no reason is acceptable, or a reason that seems very selfish and self-centered, if that's acceptable to the majority, doesn't that make it moral and not evil? Who gets to decide what is moral and what is evil? And the third line of questioning would be, when does an act that would otherwise be evil become acceptable? For instance, when is it okay to kill a person? When they are threatening to kill someone else or a bunch of other people? But who is to say that the second killing was justified and not the first, if there's no higher moral standard? I mean, the first killing, an individual that wants to kill someone else has a reason why they want to do that, most likely. It may not be a good reason in our ideals, but who gets to decide that? And then deciding that you're going to kill that person because they're going to kill other people, what makes that any better? Both of you have a reason for it. Who gets to decide that one reason is moral and one reason is evil? So those are just some questions that help to dig into the issue of the need for a moral lawgiver, the need for a higher moral standard than what the world would have us believe, that it really is just ultimately up to the culture and the masses, what the majority decides. If the majority decides to do something horrible and abhorrent, is it not horrible anymore if the majority decide to do that? Now, if you're looking for a book that addresses the problem of evil in the world when it comes to having a loving God, the best one that I know of is called God Forsaken by Dinesh D'Souza. Now, I don't remember who this was, so if you're listening or watching this, I'm not trying to single anyone out for this, but someone really did not like the fact that I brought up this book by Dinesh D'Souza in the past, because there are some actions that he has taken that they don't like. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember the details, but all I can say is the book is really good. And I'm recommending the book on the problem of evil called God Forsaken, Not Every Aspect of the Author's Life. And that's going to be the case a lot of times. There are a lot of resources out there that are really good. And then if you dig into the author's life, there may be things that you don't like. For instance, there's this amazing book on evangelism called Just Walk Across the Room. Wonderful book full of great content and some really true but paradigm-shifting thoughts about evangelism. It's written by a guy named Bill Hybels. Not a great example of pastoral ministry. And if you know what's happened with him in recent years, you know why. But the book is still great. One of my mentors has said recently that we keep elevating Christian leaders as if they are perfect representations of the faith, and then we're shocked to find out that they have feet of clay just like us. And it doesn't mean that everything they've ever done is worthless. Peter, Paul, David, Noah, Moses, and everyone else in the Bible except Jesus had some big blunders too, and thankfully we don't reject everything they wrote because of it. So the resource I would recommend is God Forsaken by Dinesh D'Souza. I can't speak for anything else he's done, but that book is the best one I have read on understanding how there can be evil in the world, even though we have a loving and just and all-powerful God.